And a couple of boats already on the race course. There you see the Miller American leaving the slip now. Chip Hanauer, the driver.
This is a big race for him. Big race.
Very
for
important.
That entire camp.
A lot of pressure on that camp right now.
That's
a lot of pressure on them. Very, very important. And this is also a big race for the Pringles folks. They have had a good day all day. Want to keep it that way. All right, the alternates dream getting started and on the course, and hoping that some of the folks who have already earned the first 6 positions can't get on the course, and that looks like the Oberto has a problem getting going now. Still by the slip. There's the Budweiser on the race course. Jim Cropfeld does not want to make any kind of a mistake in this starting sequence.
Let's spread our fellas out in the pits and cover that. Oh boy, Oberto with George Woods Jr. They are the 3rd best point getter in the first 2 qualifying heats, and if they don't go, that would put Pietro's Pizza in with Todd Yarling. There's the Oh boy Oberto. They've got now, according to our clock, what, 2 minutes and 20 seconds to get it cranked up. They have to have it going by 1 minute ahead, or they don't go. It has to be started, turned over.
Alternate number 2, the Frank Kenny, running without the uprights and without the wing, and as already Milner Irvin explained, he doesn't like the way the boat feels that way, but he'll run with it.
Why not? Points available.
Pietro's is still not fired up either as an alternate. Now what happens if all 6 get on the field that are supposed to run? But then the rest of them will have to shut off in the infield.
All right, who's covering Oberto? Take it away.
They're having some problems getting it started. We are down here with the Oh boy Oberto, and Jim Harvey's making a beeline now to the dock here to try and see. They've lost the boat now. It's just sitting out there, as you can see, and they're trying to get it started. George Woods Jr. is getting it to turn over a little bit, but they are just kind of chugging along. There he goes. And a big roar comes up from the dock here. There are a lot of people that came down from some of the other boats to kind of help out and lend their moral support. But oh boy, Oberto is on its way out on the race course, Wayne.
And as big a cheer as that gets from its rooters, the Pietro Pizza folks go rats because they didn't want it to start. They want to get in the big show. All right, let's check the course and see how many are running. How many do you find, Mike?
We've got them all out there, more than all, as a matter of fact. The Pietros will go on to the race course, only because the boats might still falter before the 1 minute gun. There's still 49 seconds there that something could go wrong. The other alternates, of course, shut down and go into the infield, and then the 6 who have earned the berths, they'll run. All 6 are running right now, so it does not look good for any of the alternates right at the moment. And, of course, as we come up on the 1 minute gun, we're also going through this pre-race psych period. Yep. And there you see the Miss Budweiser. The last time she was in a race with the Miller American, she got psyched, and it does not look right at the moment as though Jim Cropfeld is going to fall for anything this time. The Miller has just pulled to the infield, and Scotty Pierce has pulled to the infield, also looping back around. So all of them will try to bunch. There is the Miller crew chief, John Walters. Intense look on his face. This is serious. He's watching the scoring up period. There's the Miller American now. The Miller leads them up to the turn. As the 1 minute gun fires, they're all a little early as they go to the turn. They want to be up into the apex of the corner, about 18 seconds on the clock. Miller slows down. Scotty is going slowly alongside the Miller. And in the 3rd lane on the outside is the Budweiser, then the Crab Legs, and lagging back is the Oberto and the Miss Rock. And
you see 7 boats, so Pietro's got to get out of there. Todd Yarling will not go, and he's got to get his boat back into the pits.
Actually, he's not there. As a matter of fact, that is the Frank Kenny, and he shouldn't be there. He has to go back, and he'll lag behind everybody else at the start line. Okay, 30 seconds. Everybody's still a little on the early side going into that corner. Not exactly where you want to be. Not put 8 seconds in a regular start charge from that exit pin down to the start-finish line. So everybody's going to be a little on the early side again. Now 17, 16, ticking it down. It looks like the inside isn't really all that important to the turbine boats. They'll all lag to the outside to a certain extent, with the exception of Miller now goes to the lane number 1 position. That's a good starting position, but they're on the early side now. They hit it. They're getting after it now with the Budweiser on the outside, coming on strong. And a fair start. A fair start, and Miss Budweiser has the start line wired and goes into the lower corner without any traffic at all. Cropfeld shuts the door at the apex there.
Great start.
Nobody there. Excellent start for the Miss Budweiser. Excellent start. Frank Kenny, as she should, it goes off the field and on into the pit area. Miss Budweiser, your leader. Second, breaking out of there is the Miller American. In 3rd position overall. Back in the traffic, the Pringles. Here's Miss Budweiser. Oh, and does she get aired out, as you can see. A lot of air under that boat. Going hard, though, is Jim Kropfeld. Settles down as he goes through the apex of the upper corner. Charging into that turn behind him is the Miller American. That's the Bud in the foreground. Miller in the background. Third place overall.
Unless it's in a piston boat. I can't find Mr. Pringles.
I can't find it either. It is the Oberto third place. Budweiser finishes lap number 1. Miller American comes across to finish lap number 1 as well. There's the Mr. Pringles dead in the water. Back in the the quarter mark of the back chute. In fact, Miss Budweiser will go by the dead Pringles right now. Through the lower corner, Miss Budweiser, your leader. And already a stretched out a commanding lead over the Miller American. A commanding lead. We've got a parade already. Not much competition after the first buoy. Budweiser, your leader, still airing out. Getting very light at the end of the back chute, but still running nice and smooth as she comes down flat on both sponsons. The Miller American lags back behind now by about 900 feet.
Almost a 10-second lead for the Bud on the Miller.
There is the Bud now as it comes around the corner, still getting loose and getting light, but coming down okay. End of lap number 2. Yellow caution flag is flying from the barge because of the boat that's dead in the water, that being the Mr. Pringles. And our man Scotty is out there off the exit pin of the lower turn, unable to get moving.
Somebody else must be dead in the water. We see only 4 rooster tails,
that
4
is
moving
correct.
boats, so there's another boat down as well.
That is correct. All right, your leader up the back chute now continues to be Miss Budweiser on lap number 3. There's the Miller going into the lower corner. Quite a lot of distance between the boats. Crab Legs, the other boat that's dead in the water, also in the south turn. A commanding lead, making it look easy, the Miss Budweiser, although she's taken a beating out there. The water is very, very rough. There's the Crab Legs, and there is the Pringles. Both of those boats not able to get into this one.
Well, wondered what would happen to Scotty. Could he have gotten washed down somewhere up in the front traffic?
Could well have been. There was a lot of traffic into the lower turn, lagging back, but the Budweiser broke through it awfully clean. Here is Chip Hanauer coming out of the upper corner now, almost a full straightaway behind the Miss Budweiser. Not much excitement in this final heat.
That's
not much at all.
Everything was anticipated and expected, but that's happened before in unlimited racing. But Jim Kropfeld simply got the great jump at the start-finish line, and the credit goes to him this time. How poor he looked in his qualifying heat, the second one, to get dipped on the inside. This time there was no doubt he was going to go outside, and he poured it on and simply took this early lead.
Without a doubt, I'm sure that the order of the day was, Jim, stay away from everybody. Everybody. Fall for nothing. Well, Jim Kropfeld up the back chute. That's the KISW lagging back. And the rookie Jack Berry getting a ride through the upper corner, almost a full course behind the Miss Budweiser after having been lapped. The Bud comes down. Then lap number 4, the green comes out on the barge. One more to go for Miss Budweiser. One more lap to go. And the Seafair will go to the Bernie Little camp. Miss Budweiser continues to come down off those rollers. Flat, but still launching off them considerably. Uh-oh, got a problem now. Miss Rock is going dead in the water right at the start-finish line as the Miller American passes her.
And the Miller
and laps.
15 seconds behind the Bud, and that may just well be the margin. And as you said, right at the start-finish line, the Miss Rock. So there will be 3 boats now running.
There is the Miss Rock. There is Jack Berry. Up. He didn't finish his first final heat. Third place overall is this boat, the Oh Boy Oberto. Almost didn't get started. Had a nice start. Was right beside the Mr. Pringles going into that first corner and broke out on top.
And with a half a course to go, and now a quarter of a course to go, here comes the winner.
Checker flies from the official barge as the Miss Budweiser scores a victory in the 87 Seafair.
Sensational boat, unbelievably prepared, great driver, fine combination, and they've won it.
And that makes it 5 out of 6 in 1987. Here's the second place boat, Chip Hanauer. And he takes the flag aboard the Miller American.
Well, as short an interview as we had a while ago with Jim Kropfeld, I'm sure we'll have much longer and much more to be said by he and Bernie Little both as they win it. And there just wasn't any question about it. If we have a replay of the start, we'll show it to you because everybody, it seemed, wanted to go outside. We talked about it, and yet a couple of people, including the Pringles, and others got trapped on the inside as Kropfeld went outside and got just straight water ahead of him.
All right, finishing third place overall in the Seafair and moving up from a fourth last year in the Tri-Cities, last week I should say, to a third in the Seafair this weekend. Here's the rookie George Woods and the old boy Alberto, top piston boat today. Nice finish for those folks. Very, very nice finish.
That it is. The Bud will come around now, the fourth corner pin, and come up to the start-finish line. The Miller American will just take that extra little precaution as the Oh Boy Alberto shown as number 3. The Miller American right there in front of us shown as number 2. And the Budweiser kind of going by the log boom and giving everybody an extra look at the sponsorship. Will come around, and Jim Kropfeld had too much for them. He just ran beautifully.
Don't know what it was. The Miller was not really in good position at the start. Nobody has made really superior starts today. I think Scott Pierce in his first heat of the day had the best start of the day. The Bud had a fine start, though, in this final heat. Got outside the traffic, got clear of every kind of problem, and came on strong. Whipped around that upper corner in order to accomplish that. Did so in a fine fashion. Running very, very wide, actually wider than he probably ought to, because he's in some boat traffic out there by the floating bridge. Is the Miss Budweiser goes around a few boats that are floating on the verge of the course there, as you can see.
Wants to say hello to everybody before he brings it in. The Miller is already in, and the winner, the Budweiser with Jim Kropfeld. After ducking inside and going dead in the water and finally getting it restarted on the outside in that qualifying heat, the Bud wins it, and the crowd right here on the beach at the start-finish line giving him a nice round of applause as he brings it down under 100 miles an hour just to coast around and show off the boat a little more. Coming straight in, the best piston boat of the day, as Mike mentioned, Oh Boy Alberto with George Woods Jr., and I think this guy is going to be one of the better drivers of the future.
Yep, I think he's got a definite future, and you can look for him to step upstairs with that Alberto program. He's looking good.
All that competition that's expected, and yet it didn't happen. Chip Hanauer, the number 2 finisher, is in the pits with Ron Callan.
Thank you very much, Wayne. We're going to try to get into Chip right now. Chip, maybe just a couple of quick comments. It has to be disappointing, although your boat ran pretty well.
Yeah, I ran pretty good, but, you know, of course we would have liked to have won. It wasn't to be today.
All right, at the start finish there at the very beginning, looked like Kropfeld had a real good beginning.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
At the start of the race, it looked like the Bud had a real good start.
Yeah, he had a really good start, and we had to run a propeller we didn't like, and it's on its tires. It wouldn't hook up, which we were afraid of, and that was the end of it.
All right, good luck for the Gold Cup.
Thanks.
All right, Chip Hanauer, second place today, Wayne Cody.
Ron, can you hang on a second? Ask him about that propeller. Why did they run one they didn't like? Was it a smaller one for the chop, or what happened?
All right, Wayne wants to know why you ran one that you didn't like as far as the propeller goes.
We had broken the good one in the second heat, and the only thing this didn't do very well is if we got in a slow position, had to step on it, it what we call spun its tires, just like that rear wheel is losing traction, and it's exactly what it did at the start. That was it.
All right, Chip, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you very much for going back for that. I just wondered, so they did break a propeller then in that second heat, something that we didn't know. There's Jimmy Kropfeld, and he's got a big hug from Bernie Little and all of the crew, but this is getting to be, well, what can we say, just every week. 5 out of 6 now, and that's his 20th lifetime, and he's sneaking up on Chip, and he's done a lot of it this year. Started the year, 9 behind, now he's 4 behind.
He is indeed.
Lifetime.
Bernie gets aboard the boat. Bernie went through triple bypass surgery this past winter. There's the crab legs. They didn't want to put the boat in the water because it takes on water, but they've been sitting out there now for 4.5 laps, and so now they're going to come in at the end of a rope. There'll be probably a few gallons in it.
Yeah.
Jack Berry has to be disappointed. At the same time, I got a feeling that Jack probably feels pretty good in his heart, because this has been a real experience for him, having gone from a rookie and nobody knew him to a fellow that got in the final heat in the Seafair. That's not a bad day's work. Not a bad day's work at all. And even though he has to come in on the end of a rope, he has nothing to apologize for.
We will get most of the drivers on here in the next few minutes. We want to talk to them because we definitely want to find out from Scott what happened to his boat. This final heat was brought to you by Taco Bell. Try their fabulous new steak fajitas. Beautiful afternoon on Lake Washington, and I'll tell you, this final heat was also presented today by Key Bank, introducing a bank for people going places. And by Taquita. Come in and try some today. This final heat also brought to you today by Taco Bell. Try their fabulous new steak fajitas. Now the fans will start to break, of course, for the exits. Many will stay right on the lake. Jim Kropfeld gets a smooch from someone. Mike, you're pretty good at identification.
Lonnie Anderson, who was the PR director there.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that the smile on his face is a whole lot different from the last time we saw him get off the boat. Miss Budweiser, the winner. Jim Kropfeld, Miller American, the runner-up, the bridesmaid once again. And the oh boy, Oberto, George Woods. Now his two race performances in the last 2 weeks guarantee him the Rookie of the Year honors this year, and he certainly deserves it. Miss Rock, the KISW, unable to finish, and the Sea Galleys, Miss Crablegs, also unable to finish. Escorted by the State Patrol, Mr. Kropfeld. Well, I don't know, maybe they're going to cite him. Do you suppose?
Yeah,
No,
I would doubt it. A little over the speed limit, no doubt about it. And
look, I was beside the bridge, pal. I wasn't on it.
3 races remaining. On August 23rd, they will go to Syracuse, New York. Then on September the 20th, San Diego for the Gold Cup, but it's on salt water. Look out, turbines. And they close the year over at Lake Mead at Las Vegas, Nevada. And that could be exciting as well as it was last year with the storms and the winds and the stormy controversy that went on as well.
Salt water at San Diego is going to be an interesting story because I'll tell you what, the odds-on favorite, if you take a look at all the statistics, toss it in the computer, and have something spit out, you know what it spits out? Oh boy, Oberto. That's what it spits out as a possible Gold Cup winner odds-on favorite. What do we have here?
Here's one of my favorite boats of all time. That looks like an old Lincoln Continental on on something. And now look, taking their hint from the Blue Angels earlier this afternoon. The one on the left and the one on the right add up to 11, and the fella in the middle, yep, that's KIRO News Radio 71. Look, flying formation. I love it how these folks get together. Oh, is that Channel 5? I'm sorry, that is the 3 televisions. I thought it was our Chopper 7 from radio, but it is Channel 4, Channel 5, and Channel 7, our channel on the far right.
Egg-beater Air Force.
That's funny. They're lining up between their pilots to do a little blue angeling. Ron Callan is in the pits. Ron?
I know that was heavy on you. We're listening to Jim Kropfeld answer questions from reporters, Wayne.
You know, I received this scarf last year from a very dear friend, and it signifies luck, good luck. And the only time I did not wear it since he gave it to me is when I blew over. So
another question, and that is basically how good, we ask this every week it seems, but how good can this boat be?
I can't imagine. I tell you, when I came down on the start and I looked down and see about 185, and I still had plenty of gas pedal left. I couldn't believe it. And it just, even coming off the turns, I don't even push it all the way down. It's awesome. It's just that's our old number 4 engine. When nothing else works, we put number 4 in. It does the job every time.
Well, you got a little rest now before you go back to Syracuse. Congratulations here, Jim.
Yeah, I can go home and go to work now.
Go to living, would you?
Yeah, go back to normal life.
Jim, we just joined you and talk about that start because it was very impressive, and really the race was just about over after the start.
Well, it really was. I saw what was happening actually about a minute and a half, a minute 45 seconds before the start. And coming down this way, we still had a minute and 20 seconds to go, and I knew we were going to be early if I ran around. So I seen Chip go through the infield, so I went way on down towards the south end here and lost about 10 seconds and came back up, and I hit my timing mark in the back stretch at 55 seconds where I wanted to be. And I just swung up and I did exactly like I did in when I made my timing runs. I didn't watch anybody else, and when I came around, there was a clock right where I wanted it, 13 seconds. I just nailed it and went. Never looked again.
You were talking to Don Boyer about this blue scarf. I don't know if we can see it on camera, but you're wearing a blue scarf on your uniform. Did you talk about why it's there?
Well, it was given to me by a very good friend and a very good boat racer, and nobody's going to know until the end of the season, but a real champion of a boat racer, and it was presented to me last year at Seattle, and I wore it every time that I've been in a boat except once, and I blew it over backwards that time. So I think it's a very good luck for me.
All right, 5 out of 6. Got to feel pretty good.
Well, hey, I feel real good. I sure like to head at 6th one in Detroit, though, but, you know, the problem with this boat is so fantastic. When they put it in the water and it doesn't win, it's my fault. It's so fast that if anything goes wrong, I probably jumped the gun or something happened.
All right, Jim Kropfeld, congratulations on winning the 1987 Budweiser Cup. That's fitting, I guess.
Nice to win your own race. Usually I don't do that.
All right, thanks a lot, Wayne Cody.